So, Linda, welcome to Positive Energy. Thanks for talking to us
It's
today.
my pleasure. My pleasure.
So I love the idea in your book and in your talk here at the Expo about the spiritual nature of animals,
Yes.
that they have a spiritual life. So could you say a little bit about that? What does that mean? And what do you want people to know about that?
Yes. Well, that has been my life experience from the time I was a very young child. And I was asked once, when did I first make that connection with animals? And I said to this woman, I can't remember. I couldn't remember a time before. So my connection to animals went back as far as I could remember. In the very beginning of the book, there is one story that I did come up with, rescuing a tiny bunny. And I remember at that time, I don't think I was more than 5 or 6. I was very, I took this bunny inside and I held that bunny and was going to rescue it. But I distinctly remember feeling a loving bond between me and that animal that was more than just physical. And that communication, that love bond, that entanglement, as they say now in physics, was very real. And it was two souls, two spirits connected. And it taught me that all life is soul. All life has meaning and purpose. And animals are just one of many beings who have soul.
Equal, no different. We're all from source. We're just different forms of that.
Yes.
So that's not the general belief. It's not where people tend to come from, which
in
allows,
this culture.
In this culture, at least, which allows for us to be cruel to animals and to treat them as separate or as lower than us.
Yes, and if you think of the word animal, the root word for animal is anima. Anima means soul.
Right.
So, although I'm a scientist and I've been on a lifelong spiritual mystical path, I see no conflict between the two. It's all part of the creation, the God, the soul, the field, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
So how can people develop and cultivate or become more aware of that bond between us?
Yeah, it's
that
like
soul-to-soul relationship, that energetic exchange that we have with animals.
That's right. It's there. Animals exist, in my experience, in a realm that is closer. It's more closely connected to source. And we, in our Western culture, have been somewhat deluded into believing that we are separate and that all beings are separate. And for some strange, non-understood reason, we have consciousness. And, that is not what I understand as truth. But what people can do, and I have specific exercises in my book. I have a whole chapter on how to go back into ourselves, to go back into who we are as souls, as individuals, because that's how we become irresistibly attracted to other souls, other beings, animals included. So when you say I'm communicating with an animal, we're all animals and we're all communicating. But we don't need to do it up here in our heads verbally. When we go inside, through meditation, through contemplation, through nature, and through simple exercises, we can tune back in. And animals help us because they act as almost like a bridge from where we are to that unknown, that becoming that we are doing. Because I believe the human race is now, whether we like it or not, we're being transformed from physical, mental beings to psychic, intuitive, feeling beings. And we're on that journey, and we can either go easily or we can take the difficult route. Carl Jung once said, "Those whom the gods cannot guide, they will drag." So it's easy if we just allow. We don't have to do so much, but it's more about being who we truly, truly
So are animals already there, completely present, evolved? in some way, whatever we
Yeah,
know?
well, of course, every species is different, and I have in my book what I talk about species-specific genius. So every species has meaning and purpose and unique qualities. Many in the animal kingdom, particularly the birds, we simply cannot explain. Some of it we can, some of it we cannot. But animals, I believe, are more psychically tuned in than humans. We have the same abilities, but animals are more naturally expressing it. So they are wonderful guides to help us. Yes, our companion animals and also in the wild, both. Yeah.
So what would be the main message that animals really want to teach us?
Well, I think number one, both wildlife and I believe our domestic animals, the most important conversation we should be having right now in our world today as human beings is reworking our relationship with nature, because that's the relationship that we are destroying, and that's the relationship we need. We cannot live without it, and animals teach us that. What we do to animals in nature, we're actually doing to ourselves. So they want us to get back into who we are, realign and heal that relationship with nature.
I would love to do that. I would love for everybody to do that. And I know that this is part of your path, of course.
Yes.
You've felt this for so long, and you are getting out there in a big way, attempting to make a difference.
Trying,
and
yes.
that's how you do your advocacy work. Is there anything else about your advocacy work that makes it unique around the world?
Well, I think that, I learned a long time ago that lapel grabbing is not an effective form of conflict resolution.
Yes.
So in the book and in my teachings and in my workshops and in my nonprofit, From the Heart, it truly is from the heart. Because when we speak and teach and live through our hearts, the conversation becomes authentic. People listen, they understand more, it makes sense, and they open, and they do change. Yeah.
So speaking about coming from the heart, I mean, you have an animal companion.
I do.
Or maybe you have more than one animal companion. I have an animal companion. And you're right, that bond that I have with my dog, it's beyond words.
It is.
It's beyond what I can describe. It is inexplicable. It is deep. It is a bond. I know we move in sync together. We are so entrained. There is so much unconditional love there that only as an animal companion can you really understand that and really discover it.
Exactly. That's normal. It is a normal relationship. It is not paranormal.
Right.
And that's part of the work I do. I collect these stories, these almost unexplained stories of animals and humans, and everyone has them. It's truly the more norm. So we need to speak out more and share them. So
who is this that we get to meet in our interview?
This is Puppy Luna.
Hi, Puppy Luna.
And she travels with me, and it's amazing in airports, on the street, anywhere. People look at her and their faces immediately light up, and they become that loving.
She brings that out in
sharing.
us.
She totally brings it out.
Yes.
Yeah, she is the star.
She is love.
She is love, a little bodhisattva of love. A constant reminder.
And then we can try to emulate that, to be more like her.
What do you think? Puppy kisses.
I wish our human relationships were as delightful all the time as our animal relationships.
Well, and I say to guys, a sweet little puppy like this, a wonderful dog, is a real magnet.
Well, thank you for bringing her out. And just tell folks how they can reach you. Give us your website.
Yes, you can find out all sorts of mischief that I'm up to at lindabender.org, lindabender.org, and it clicks to my Facebook, and you can also like me. And also, the book is on Amazon. It's all on lindabender.org.
Okay. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you, Luna.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for being with us.